The views and opinions expressed on any program are those of the producers and/or the persons appearing on the program and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of FRC Media, Bristol Community College, or the City of Fall River.
Thank you for joining us, as always, here on a Wednesday at FRC Media. I'm Keith Tebow, joined every week, as I am, by the Mayor of the City of Fall River, Mayor Paul Coogan. Mayor, how are you?
I'm doing okay, Keith. How about you?
I'm doing well. Let's start. There's a lot of activity going on. Of course, it is an election year, and sometimes things get a little charged when there's election season coming up. I actually want to start. When we spoke last week, the City Council was still holding hearings on your initial budget proposal that you sent up last month. On Thursday, Wednesday night, actually, it was a week ago, the council rejected that budget. You have since sent down a new budget over $450 million. What's different in this proposal that you hope the council will favorably pass?
I think we added some clarifications on healthcare spending. We looked at money in a couple other places that we could shift around to take care of some of the concerns the council expressed. And you know, that's basically what it was. We didn't make any major changes. We're pretty confident the first budget we sent down was balanced, but we understood the concerns of the council, and we want to address them, and that's what we're working on now. Obviously, there'll be another budget sent down that contains all the changes we thought. And again, the budget was balanced, but the council didn't like the way it was configured, so we'll address their concerns.
And I know we've talked about this before. You do have regular meetings with councilors, especially prior to meetings. Was any of this brought up in your discussions with them one-on-one?
Yeah, maybe a little bit around the edges. Like I said, particularly on healthcare. Healthcare is such a fluid account, and it's so much money. We're talking somewhere around $50 million. But you have a self-insured program. Blue Cross and Blue Shield administers it, but the money that we spend is divided up amongst the people that are insured, and that's how it works. We have a company, obviously Gallagher, does their best job to estimate the cost for a year based on actuals and our history, and we go forward with that. But it can change, and it does change most of the time. So it's a fluid number. The council definitely wanted it expressed better. So that's what we've done. And, you know, we're working with them. It's different because my position is we should all work together to get the budget passed. But, you know, as you said, it's political season, and some people want to have different things to say. Even though I don't agree with them, I respect it, and we get to the next day.
I know one other big item that is a big increase in next year's budget actually came up last night during the Finance Committee meeting of the City Council was the cost of solid waste disposal. There's new contracts that are going to be negotiated. The current one also has seen an increase. You know, obviously, when you came in, the pay-as-you-throw program went away, as well as the solid waste disposal fee went away. You know, this has always been an issue with the city, and how can the city grapple with that in terms of the rising costs of disposal?
Right. Again, disposal, to me, I disagree with this wholeheartedly. It should be a state issue. I mean, you have Somerset, Swansea, Westport, Taunton. We're all competing for spots to throw trash. Taunton's landfill is going to be closing. New Bedford has one. There's not many years left, and obviously Fall River's closed. So across the state, communities have trouble disposing of trash. When we got rid of pay-as-you-throw, I think it was my first election. That was the year when Jazel did that to win election or to try to get reelected. He got rid of pay-as-you-throw, but he never put in a backup plan. There was nothing to show where that $2 or $3 million a year was going to come from. And what's happened since, as was described last night, the tonnage has gone up, the problems have gone up. And our carrier, Easy, said, "Listen, this is getting out of control now. We can't accommodate all this additional tonnage." We have since flipped where we dump. Now we're going over to Dartmouth or New Bedford to dump our trash, but we're on the chase all the time, and it's very, very difficult. Trash is tough. Costs are going up between drivers. They're paying astronomical amounts of money to drivers now. Insurance, everything's going up. It's a very big problem.
Another item that came up before the city council last night is actually something that we talked about 3 years ago. Had to deal with former DCM director John Perry, who was let go of his position. There was an investigation held. There was some potential of some improprieties that went on in terms of misconduct, abuse of power by Mr. Perry. He was eventually let go. He did get a severance, if you will, of over $60,000. The report at that time was actually released, I believe, a couple of years ago in 2023. But the report also came out a couple of weeks ago, and the city council now wants to get involved in terms of what happened, what didn't happen during that time. The investigation was sent to both you and the former city administrator, Seth Aiken, at the time. So let me ask you, when you received that report, was there any attempt to try to see if there was any other investigation to see if there was any wrongdoing in terms of any law breaking that went on?
Yeah, as I said before, we worked with the Florida Police Department. We sent some information over to them, and they worked, I believe, I'm not sure, but it did go to the district attorney level, and there was not something we could pursue. And a lot of that stuff was before, or during the Jazel time. It's stuff that we've cleaned up. Who used the truck? Where did the power washer go? Where did the graffiti remover go? These are things that were very difficult to follow up on, and the personnel has changed extensively. So that's all stuff that we brought in Al Oliveira to help clean up. But following a legal trail, we did rely on the police department for that.
And now the city council is looking at potentially maybe doing their own investigation. Are you willing to aid in that if they ask for any assistance? They also thought of having a meeting in between with you and the corporation council in terms of the investigation. Would be an executive session. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, that's fine. Again, this was something that was extensively covered. I was actually talking to the reporter that handled it most, Joe Good, yesterday, and she wrote numerous articles. About what happened. I have no idea why this is coming up now. It doesn't look like anything new has been uncovered. The report came out. The areas we could follow up on, we followed up on. The changes we could implement, we did. But the people that I look at, the people that I think may have been doing something criminal or illegal, and I'm pretty sure most of them have moved on.
Yeah. All right. We always like to wrap up our conversations many times about things happening in the city. There's a couple of events happening this weekend, excuse me, primarily on Saturday. One is actually very early in the morning. If you're in the Flint neighborhood and you want to help out, there's going to be a pop-up cleanup in the Flint neighborhood that people can get involved with.
Yeah, that's going to be, I think, what did we say? The corner of Pleasant and what was the other street, Keith?
Yeah, Pleasant and Flint Street.
Flint Street. We'll be down there doing a couple-hour cleanup and trying to make the Flint look a little better. That's something we're trying to do. I was looking at a couple of places today. I actually stopped at a business and told them they have to cut the grass in front. It just looked crummy. But we want to try to get the city looking good. I think people should notice the street sweepers are out a lot more. We're trying to reinstitute a little cleanup crew that we're going to send out to do spot work around the city. And this little cleanup we got going on Saturday morning in the Flint, we'll take care of a few streets there. I was actually down there with the Spirit of Santo and Andrew Raposa doing his cleanup a couple weeks ago, but every bit of litter off the street makes me feel better, so I'll be there to help.
Yeah.
We'd love to see other people come.
Yeah, and the other event, I think we touched upon it a couple weeks ago, is actually a very innovative event. The Fall River Symphony Orchestra is celebrating its 100th anniversary. They have a concert that is set for Saturday evening. Hopefully, the weather will help us out, and that'll be at the Norton City Pier. Should be a unique and interesting event.
Yeah, we're going to have some food trucks there. The symphony is going to be doing a tremendous show. We had to rent a huge stage, lighting, sound. We'll bring everything in. Everybody should bring a lawn chair, come on down and sit there and listen to some great music right on the waterfront. As Keith said, we're going to be doing some praying that the rain that comes in the morning clears out and comes back late at night. It's from 6:30 to 9:30. And we'd love to see everybody come on down, spend a couple hours on the water, listening to a symphony orchestra.
Yeah, and FRC Media will be there actually to record the event, and we'll be playing it back after the fact. So if you happen not to be able to get down there, you can always check us out on Channel 95 and you can watch it with us. All right, Mayor Coogan, as always, I appreciate your time. We'll talk again next week. Take care.
Okay, Keith, thank you.
All righty, and thank you for joining us as always. We'll talk again next week. Have a great week.